Hi, it's Chrispy1ofOz's here, and today I'm going to be showing you how to go through the bind off with the top triangle edge for my Chrispy1ofOz's design Sprig in My Step shawl. What I've done is I've made a swatch of the Sprig in My Step shawl with the pattern showing and the triangle edges showing, and I've got a lifeline in case you're wondering what that is. It's a lifeline because I've had to undo this a few times myself. So what I've done is I've pretended that I am on row 181 and I've completed that final row, which ends with knit 2, yarn forward, knit 2 together, yarn forward, knit 2. So now we're ready to start at the first row of our final chart, which is the triangle bind off chart. So we're going to flip it over to the purl side, and we're going to start with knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 2 together. So here's knit 2, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over. Oh, I'm purling. Purl 2 together. Sorry about the confusion. Purl 2 together. Maybe I better recap here. So it's purl 2, yarn over, purl 1, yarn over, purl 1, yarn over, purl 2 together, purl 1, purl 2 together, and try not to purl the lifeline, purl 2 together, and then we're going to slip one stitch from the passive needle. This is the passive needle with all of the live stitches from the shawl on it, and this is the active needle. So we've slipped one stitch from the passive needle to the active needle. We're going to turn the work, and we're going to knit 2 together and yarn over and knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, and knit 2. That brings us to this point on the chart. So the next row we start here when we turn the work again to the purl side, and we purl 2, yarn over, purl 5, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and yarn over, purl 1, yarn over, purl 2 together, which sometimes I have a bit of trouble with, so I pull down on the work, and that just stretches that little stitch so that I can include it in the purl 2 together, and purl 1, purl 2 together, and again slip from the passive needle to the active needle one stitch. Turn the work, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, yarn over, knit 2 together, yarn over, slip, slip, knit, slip, purl knitwise, and then purl 2 or knit 2 together through the back loop. Getting my purls and my knits all confused. Hope that I'm not confusing you too much. Knitting 3 stitches, then knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, and that brings us to the end of this row here. We start where that red arrow is for the next row, which is row number 5 of our pattern. So we're going to purl 3, and this row is probably the most tricky of all the rows because it's got unusual stitches in it. So we purl 3, yarn forward, purl 2 together, and purl 1, and then slip 1 purl-wise, purl 1 stitch, and slip the slip stitch over the purl stitch, and then yarn over, purl 2, yarn over, and purl 2 together, And if you've got nice sharp needles, you probably won't have a problem with purling two together, but sometimes I do because my needles are not as sharp. And okay, we then slip one of the passive stitches over to the active needle, turn the work back to knit. We knit two together, yarn over, knit two, knit two together, knit two, yarn over, knit two together, knit two, yarn over, and then knit three together, and then yarn over and knit four. And that sets us up for the binding off row where we're binding off the point of the triangle. So you can see that we've got a cute little diamond in the work with all these lacy bits around it, which I think is rather lovely, and we're getting a bit of a lacy lattice happening. We turn the work around back to the purl side, and we're ready to bind off. Now, to bind off purl-wise, you purl the first two stitches, and I know you know this, but I'm just recapping. Purl two, and so it takes two purl stitches to cast off one stitch. So we've knit two stitches, we knit a third, or purl a third stitch to cast off the second stitch. We purl again to cast off the third stitch, we purl again to cast off the fourth stitch, and purl again to cast off the fifth stitch. We purl again to cast off the sixth stitch, and one last purl to purl off the seventh stitch. Now we've got that purl stitch there, and that purl stitch, because we started with two purl stitches, that actually becomes the first purl stitch on our pattern here. So when we're binding off, we've got three purls. So this is first purl, second purl, third purl. We yarn forward, we purl two together, purl one, and purl two together, and slip from the passive to the active and turn. And our final row in this chart is knit two together, yarn forward, knit two, yarn forward, knit two together, yarn forward and knit two. Now what we have is, as you can see with my lifeline there, that's how many stitches we've actually bound off already, and we've achieved that. We've also achieved the first triangle, and we're well on our way to the second triangle on the top edge. So thanks for listening and watching, and I hope that this is helpful to you. I'm going to keep on knitting across, and next time you see a video from me, it will be how to finish the bind off. Okay, thanks for watching. Cheerio for now.